spirituality is a different lane. And I feel like not enough people talk about that, probably because not enough people are in it who like are also very businessy. But it is different because you will get slapped in the face if you're doing shit that's out of alignment.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be allowed to build it out of alignment, versus like when I was in nutrition, I could definitely build something out of alignment. You know, it was just I was vibrating differently. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm here with Kaylin again.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so we had a conversation Sunday. I don't know what day it is anymore. We were at coffee or matcha. We were at matcha. And I was like, we should just talk about this on the show. So I'll let you lead.
Yeah. So I think so many people in your audience resonate with essentially like the type of business that I want to build, because I want, like, it's a spiritual business, right? Spiritual entrepreneurship. You were telling me about how there's a lot of different psychology that goes into the marketing of a spiritual business, and like intuitive services and things like that, versus just like a product-based business or any other type of, even just like a different coaching business. And so I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions for myself and also for the audience of like the differences between some of those things and like ways that we can start to just be very focused in like our personal branding in order to, because that's the conversation that you and I were having of like how can I think about this more of like a personal brand and not just like, oh, these are the things that I'm passionate about, these are the things that I offer, and make it more cohesive moving forward.
And here's the thing, this is like a really important conversation that I mean, I like talking about this because I do like business, but also like there's so many people in my audience who are running these types of businesses. And I really believe the planet needs more healers and people in the spiritual arts and healing arts of whatever sort. And I also find that this type of person often struggles the most with the business side. And so I do think these are really important conversations to have. And I think you have to kind of break down your business from a few different angles. And one is understanding kind of like the practical pieces of business models, and the other is the personal brand side, and they're kind of separate but they tie in together. And right now, I mean, the business landscape is changing all the time. You know, I think about in the last 10 years, it's like every year it's kind of a new thing, and you do kind of need to be on the pulse of what's changing, and you have to be really adaptable. So it's not like the same advice is going to work forever, especially with how fast social media platforms change. You have to be plugged into like what's working now, and you have to be plugged into your intuition. And I think as somebody who's spiritual, I have to be really I need to be plugged into people who can teach me better practical 3D strategies. And I also need to not oversaturate myself with business advice, because that starts to become a lot of noise and that's not going to work for me. And I need to also listen to my intuition. And I think you have to be really grounded in both. And I have a lot of people who are like, they come to me and they're like, well, my guides told me to do this and that and this and that. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And your guides aren't always telling you what's going to work in the 3D. It's like ideas that it's your job in the physical to bring that into something that's going to work. But also all these people over here, I also see people who are like learning all these bro strategies, and that's just not going to work when you're running something off frequency. And so I think there's a nice happy medium and understanding both and living in that nuance, and that balance is going to be different for different people. But I definitely think, like, I know a lot of people who are so amazing at teaching business and have these huge, you know, companies now. They're helping people run businesses. But the reality is, running a spiritual business, and this is what I was telling you, like running a spiritual business is very different from running, like when I was in health and wellness, like any different type of coaching, or obviously like product is very different from coaching or service in that way. And you have to understand if people are buying because of you or not. And most things nowadays are going to be, they're buying because of you. But I will just say, like, you know, I've been in like the service-based space my whole career. And when I like marketing, building a personal brand, when I was, you know, in the health and wellness space, when I was just podcaster, health and wellness space, and then when I was business coaching, compared to spiritual, like spirituality is a different lane. And I feel like not enough people talk about that. Probably because not enough people are in it who like are also very businessy, but it is different because you will get slapped in the face if you're doing shit that's out of alignment.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be allowed to build it out of alignment versus like when I was in nutrition, I could definitely build something out of alignment. You know, it was just, I was vibrating differently. So there's a much more like kind of mission component, I think, which is true for everybody, you know, like you still want to build every business in alignment with your mission and your coding, but I think that everybody needs to learn personal branding skills. Most things are personal brand nowadays. And then you need to like get really specific with like if you're service based, what industry you're in, and learn from people in that realm, you know. And but the landscape's changing. I mean, we talked about this even just with, I think I know a lot of people right now are trying to figure out what are we doing now that we're in a post-COVID world and nobody wants to leave their house.
Right.
Nobody wants to leave their house because a lot of, you know, I have a lot of clients and a lot of friends who built their whole companies off of events, and people don't want to go to like, I mean, people still do go to events, but it's so much harder. I mean, I have a lot of friends who their whole business was events and they, you know, have millions of people in their audience and they're like, literally, we can't fill anything.
Yeah.
So, and I think there are a lot of reasons for that. But that's my point. It's like you kind of have to just keep a pulse on it and be willing to change. So that's my kind of spiel, but ask me any questions.
Okay, cool. Let's see, where do I want to start? I would say just like high level, what's different psychologically about how people receive spiritual or intuitive content versus traditional educational content, and like what to kind of keep in mind as you're sharing that.
Well, here's the thing. You have to really know who you're talking to in terms of like at what point in their spiritual journey are you trying to meet them at. And that's going to be different for different people, because the thing about traditional educational content is it's very clear for people why they should buy it. Like, I'm going to get this result. And the result of spirituality is a bit more nebulous. It's like life transformation. So at that point, you're either trying to help people understand they need that, or you're talking to people who are willing to pay for transformation. Like, for example, I'm the ideal client in this realm. It's like when I buy things, I'm not looking for like a practical result. You know, I'm looking for like resonance. And I think that's also the shift as well. Like, I don't even look at people's like testimonials. Like, I just intuitively know. I'm like, oh, most things I've bought, I don't even know who the person is. I find one piece of their content, I feel the ping, and I'm like, I'm signing up. And a lot of people who come to my stuff are like that too. Like, they just feel that resonance. So you're operating so much more off of like resonance and frequency. And I think what happens is a lot of people in the spiritual space get stuck because they're saying things that it's good content, but the embodiment or the frequency or the alignment isn't there. And so it's not felt. I think the other side of that is sometimes people can go on the kind of opposite side of the spectrum where they're saying a lot of stuff, but it's so nebulous, it's so spiritual that they're not like meeting the audience where they're at. And so people don't even really get the point. And I do think the more you can connect with people, like say your thing, but how can you connect this back to like how this is related to the person in front of you, then it's going to click for them why they would want to come in. So I think there's much more of like an emotional connection, and people need to feel safe for sure. Like in a spiritual container, like I need to feel safe with you. If I'm just taking a course on healing my gut health, like if you give me good info, I don't really care if your voice bothers me, you know, like things like that. Like, I don't really care. I just want the info. But when you're working in the spiritual arts, like there's a container, there's a safety, there's an embodiment, there's like a deep trust. And I also think that the big thing with spirituality, because you're not like necessarily giving advice that's like, okay, if you do this, if you drink these 3 things, your bloating will go down. People are looking to how you feel, and they are looking at the life you live. Like, they're looking at, does this person have healthy relationships? You know, does this person make money? If they're talking about abundance codes and this person doesn't have a business, they haven't had a client in 5 years. Like, it's that kind of thing that has to be in integrity. And people do pay attention to all of those subconscious cues. I think in spirituality, there's so much more, which is an advantage if you're actually doing the work. Like, people can feel if you are embodied in it. People can feel it. They feel that vibe, and there's like a level of comfort with yourself. I think the problem is when people are trying to sell a spiritual business in like a very bro-y way, and it like doesn't map. So I think it's just alignment in those places. But there's also if you're talking about building a personal brand, like the things that I'm going to show to build my personal brand are going to be different in this industry than beforehand. You know, people are looking for like, how do I as a person holistically integrate what I'm talking about into my life? What does that look like as I'm living it? Like, showing the meals I eat every day isn't going to cut it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more about like what you're choosing to emphasize in your personal brand would change.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay, so when someone has multiple gifts and interests and passions, how can they like find that unifying thread of what their personal brand actually is? So like in spirituality, like all these different areas or offers or focuses, but then like being strategic with their personal brand and tying it all together.
Okay, well, I think the issue is that a lot of people who are in the like spiritual space, they are trying to sell a result when really you're more so either just selling the modality, but really you're selling you of anything. It's like, why is somebody going to come to me for energy healing? Like, okay, you can make an argument that they want energy healing, but like, they're coming to me for energy healing because of me, because of my personality. And so I think you always are marketing yourself. Like, you have to feel relatable. And so I think people get really caught up in like, how does this and this and this fit? And I'm like, because they're all you. Like, why did they? And I think you have to ask yourself, why do all of these things matter to you?
Right.
Like, if I look at all of the things that make me me, it's like, I love my lattes, and I love my coffee enemas, and I love my lymphatic drainage massage, and I love I love clothes. Like, there's a reason why all those things are very Christina, and it's because the thing that moves my whole life is frequency.
Yeah.
It's like everything is about my channel. The clothes I wear, like the colors around me, the things I'm drinking, the ritual, like that all is me, because there is a unifying theme, right? And so I think you have to come back to like, what are my values, and like, what do I represent? But also, that's why you have to see yourself as what you're selling. Like, if you can get people to like, if people resonate with you, then they're just going to want to work with you no matter what the offer is. And I think people get really caught up in like what the offer is. There's been so many times I hire people and I'm like, I want to work with you. I don't even know what you offer, but like, this is what I want. Can you do that for me? And people all the time, they're like, I want to work with you. Like, what can I do? And they just sign up for whatever I happen to be running next. Like, they don't even care what it is, because that's the resonance. They know that they're going to get something out of working with me. And I think that most people who are running a spiritual business, like, you have to really look at the underlying energetics. Where are you improving energy? And I think a lot of people are really improving energy with this. And they're like, I'm trying to prove that I'm the best at this, or I'm trying to prove that I'm so healed over here. It's like, that's inherently unhealed if you're improving energy. And I think also, you know, the proof is like, well, I'm going to prove to you with 8,000 testimonials that this is real. And it's one thing if you're advertising with testimonials. It's another thing if you're trying to prove yourself. And so I think the proving energy is just like really strong with a lot of people in the spirituality space. But you have to find a way as a personal, you have to understand, like, I'm a personal brand, and the proof is me. The proof is me if I actually have healthy relationships. I mean, I saw Jake Woodard posted this and I was laughing so hard. Somebody sent this like question into his box. Oh my God, I should look it up. It was today, and I spit out my water this morning because I was laughing so hard. And he was like, I don't know, maybe you should ask another one of your divine feminine relationship coaches who's single.
Yeah.
And look, I totally understand that like people ebb and flow of like their phases, you're single and then you get in a relationship. It's like, but it's an issue when someone is like, you've never had a relationship before. You never had a healthy relationship in your life. Like, and you're saying you're a coach on XYZ. Like, I mean, I have more wiggle room to talk about shit I don't know about because I'm channeling. Yeah. Like, I'm just talking about everything I talk about, I don't know jack shit about. You know, that's the point. I'm a channel. But when you're like a coach on something and you're not embodied in it, you know, so, or like money energetics or whatever. It's like, I mean, to be teaching energy, there has to be proof of that, right? And so I think that's where people get really lost in the sauce. It's like, if you have a modality or a tool that you love, it's probably because it's worked for you. So you need to talk about why it's worked for you. You need to talk about your personal experience again and again and again, and really orient around like how it changed your life. And people will hear that and resonate with that. It doesn't have to be tangible. Like, if you are just passionate about something, you're like, hey, like, I started working with crystals and like I felt so much clearer. I felt more in my body. Like, I used to struggle with a lot of anxiety, and you're just being genuine. People are gonna be like, whoa, like maybe that could help me too. Right. And I think people want, like, try to make it this bigger thing than it is. It's like, whatever your testimonial is as big as it needs to be. Like, that's the power in it. And I think people get off track of like why this really matters to them. And it's like, you have to come back to, why are you doing this? And I think that gets really lost in the sauce. It's like, you know, it's like, for you, okay, why do you care so much about throwing these events? Like, why are they so important to you? And if you start talking about that, I'm like, well, that's the vibe I want to see in your social. Yeah. Like, I should get that vibe. And somehow that just gets lost in translation for a lot of people, where it's like, they never actually talk about why it's so important to them. They're never actually convicted in something. And I think, especially in the spiritual space, people put on this tone of like, love and light, Linda, right? Like, oh, like, you know, you really need to connect with your body. It's like, if that's not how you talk, what's the real? What's the real? You know, like, get convicted about something, get fired up about something, because people can feel when you care. And, you know, I'm good at selling things, and it's not because, like, I don't think about, well, I mean, sometimes I do, but I don't really think about the psychology of selling. The psychology I care about of selling is like, if I believe in something, I'm going to be very clear about it, and people can feel that. People can tell when I'm like, if you are not drinking Paleo Valley chocolate bomba protein every single day, like, I don't know what you're doing. It's the most slept on life hack, like, for your hair, your nails, like, protein. I mean, because it's genuine, and everybody wants like a business hack for this. You can't hack your way around authenticity. And I think that's why a lot of products don't sell nowadays. Like, people know when people are lying. I mean, I even think about, it's like these, you know, the skincare people that are just getting all this work done. I'm like, well, I don't, that's not your product then. Or like, I know everybody was coming at Dave Asprey about that because he got a facelift, and they're like, well, Dave, how can I, you know, believe what you say about anti-aging when you're doing procedures? And it's like, and I'm not saying anything's right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, this is just understanding the psychology of it. And I do think now more than ever before, people are really resonating with things that are authentic, because everything looks so fake and photoshopped and put together. And I had this I was talking to my web designer last week, and out of nowhere he's like, oh, there's this, I was going to text you because I saw these things on your stories, and I was like, I think that's the most original content I've seen in a year. And I was like, what? He was like, everything is just, everybody just puts this package shit together. And it was like, you just were talking, like, you called me on FaceTime and you're doing something else and like telling me the real. And I was like, it's so, and he was just talking a lot about that. And I'm like, it's so true. Like, people are so over all this, the hook. Yeah. It's like, you know, but really, and we've talked about this, who are you talking to? Because how I want to market my business if I was trying to coach would be very different than like if I'm running a spiritual business. And I think that has to be represented, you know? So I think it's just, you have to really attune your marketing to what you're actually offering and what your transformation is. Like, I think you have to center around your transformation always. That's the most authentic thing.
I love that. I think that that leads me kind of into another broader question about content, because I think that's like it's so easy to, like you said at the beginning, like just get caught in like, okay, well, what's my content plan? And it's like when you're only focused on the content, like your pillars, your transformation, like all those things can get kind of like lost in the sauce. So what's your advice for like spiritually a personal brand, like a spiritual personal brand, for like content plan, obviously just high level, versus like other things that you should be doing for the personal brand that are also like moving the needle, that are not just focused on content?
Well, I think the most important thing for any business is networking. And I think that in the world of TikTok and Instagram, people don't want to do that anymore. But like back in the day before social, there's a lot of shit people did to build their business that still works. And it's the reason why people can get a lot of followers but not make money. And I don't think it's ever going to go away that your network, what do they say? They say your network is your net worth. It's like, it's never going to go away. You know, I mean, being in masterminds, joining programs, like I don't think I know a single person who's struggling with money who is not in a group like that. And you got to put your money where your mouth is. And I was saying this earlier. It's like, you know, line person is like, you know, I'm really struggling with finances, blah, blah, blah. And then there's, you know, coaching, there's programs, there's people who have written out entire business maps. There's like AI. It's like, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to. Like you need to be in that room. And I think there are lots of reasons why joining things like that are worth your money or your time. And yeah, like you learn a lot that you're not going to learn anywhere else, because the reality is like a pre-made program is not going to give you the same, like as good of advice as somebody just like talking to you and learning person to person, or the people giving personal advice. But so much of what's worth it is being around other entrepreneurs. Like I just can't tell you. I just think if you don't have like a solid group of entrepreneur friends, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And I don't mean other friends that are struggling.
Right.
I mean people who are where you're at, or where you want to be. They're where you want to be. And people will just be friends with people who are where they're at, and they stay in this cycle and they're struggling. And like you have to get around people who have made a lot more money than you doing what you want to do. And then you don't reinvent the wheel. Like successful people want to help people that are growing, you know? That's so much of what I did. Like I learned very early on the most important way for me to spend my time and my money was to get in the right room. And it will always be true. It's just like pay for access to the right group. Because I just can't even tell you what that's going to do for you. And it's just going to give you a leg up. And so I think that's the number one thing. And like so much of how you build a personal brand is offline. Like I have a strong business because people know me. Like people know me not through social media. There's this whole world of people who own businesses that are older than us, and they're not on social. And, you know, early on I had joined a lot of masterminds to learn how to build businesses off social because I wanted to learn that. And it's like, so I have all these networks of people that don't do that. And it's like, oh, somebody knows my name. I have a strong personal brand because people are talking about me. And I think the thing is, your personal brand is how you move through the world. It's like, how do you talk to people that, you know, I don't know, you're at a coffee, you're at a restaurant, you're getting your brows done, you're at, you know, your kid's soccer game. Like you're always advertising yourself, and people are either learning your name and who you are and your energy and what you stand for, or they're not. And I think that people forget, like every day, all day, if you're around people, that is marketing opportunity. That's building your brand. It's like what you embody. It's who you are. But a lot of people are just like, it's just on social, and it's not. It's so much about how you move through the world. Like you could go to one party, one event, and you embody like the real you. You're going to get 15 people reaching out to you. I mean, the number of parties I've been to, I'm just talking to people and everybody texts me like, oh, I want to stay connected. They're like, I want a session with you. Like, do you do that? Like, you know what I mean? Because I am the brand. It's me. So if people like me, they're going to be like, I want to stay connected to you. If people like you, you make more money. You know what I mean? Like, also people don't like you, tend to make more money. Yeah. But my point is like, make sure people know you. be supportive. How can I help you? Like, lead with generosity. That's what I've done my whole business, and I always will. It's like, I am always like, how can I help you? And people are like, oh, well, what can I do for you? I'm like, I don't know. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing right now, but I'll let you know. It's like, I just want to support people. I want to be people's hype person. And people remember that. Like, there have been so many people who have supported me throughout my journey, like, because I went out of my way to support them, to promote them, to share about them. And then the time came where they were like, you know what? I'm going to randomly hype Christina up in my podcast. And I didn't even think about it. You know, the number of people that just have done random like advertisements for me, just because like either one, they had a really good experience with me and it was genuine. They just wanted to share, you know, two, because I really supported them and I was there for them. Like, that never goes like unrecognized, you know? And so I think just there's a real thing about just being a good person that gets really lost in these conversations. And I stand by that, because I think we get so caught up in, you know, what to do. And I'm like, if you are a good, like a nice person and you do good work, like I show up to every client, like I'm giving you 200%. I'm not half-assing, you know, because just one client could change everything for me, you know? And likewise, like, so I think you have to just like also just be a good person, you know, and like spread the love. So that's one. Content strategy, I think, depends on what you're trying to sell. I know this sounds like a very basic question, but you have to get really clear on you know, if the person that you're talking to, your ideal demo, has a specific pain point, what is that? Like, what is the problem that you solve? And that can be a little more like nebulous, or like, what is the main thing that you teach? I think a lot of spiritual people are teaching about too many different things. And it's not that you can't combine different modalities, but it's like, that's what makes you a personal brand. But there has to be a common message. Like, what's the main message that you are sharing? And you need to get really crystal clear on that and make sure that all of your content is connecting back to that. I think that spiritual people have a hard time with the idea of you have to say the same thing again and again and again and again. And I also think you have to remember that the basics work. Like, I don't have to say anything life-changing for people to resonate. I just have to like speak truth. And sometimes truth is like, hey, I know the world is crazy right now, but like, timeline's looking good on my side. Like, I didn't say anything crazy, but it's just, they feel like people are like, okay, I'm talking to this person. People need to know you as a person. So I think the content plan has to have a lot of the same shit over and over and over again to get the point across. Has to have a clear main message, and it also has to show you and represent your personality. Because if I'm not getting a sense of who you are, then why would I work with you? You know? And I just think the more like authentic and real and raw you are, the better. Like, people get way too packaged, or I can tell they like thought about it before they jumped on there. Just like, talk to me like you're on FaceTime with a friend. That's where you're most likable. That's where you're most magnetic, and that's where the right people are going to come right to you. So I think that different personalities work better with different types of content plans. For some people, I think it's really smart for them to have like a very clear schedule, and it's like, every third post, you're going to post something personal about your personal journey. You know, then you're going to move into like educational, then you're going to move into inspirational. Like, I think for some personality types, that's actually really important to keep them on track, because otherwise they start dancing around. Because a lot of people who are running spiritual businesses, like, I look at their page and I'm like, I don't know who you are, what you do. Like, I can tell you're a spiritual person, but like, what is your message? Like, I can tell you like to dance, but I don't know anything about you. Like, this is not compelling me to buy. But now if your dancing is telling me a story, if your dancing is has a message to it that's connected to me, like, now I can get on board. But I think you need to look at your page as this holistic, I tell people it's a portfolio, because you don't actually need like endless content. You just need a set of like portfolio content that's going to be really clear for people about like who you are. So if I don't get a vibe for your personality, if I don't really know what your message is, if it's not obvious to me what you sell, I think this is the biggest thing. It's like, most spiritual people, I go to their page and I'm like, I don't know what you sell. If that's not obvious to me within the first 5 seconds, it's not in your profile, it's not in your, what's it called? Bio. It's not on your highlight. It's not your pinned post. I mean, that's the problem. Like, most spiritual people overthink stuff, and the most obvious things they just don't do. you know?
Yeah.
And I think that you need to be willing to use different language at different places.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not like, they say, I do my quantum manifesto, light coded Arcturian, Pleiadian, galactic uploaded code. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm really spiritual and I don't know what you said, you know? Yeah. It's like, how can you make this really clear? Like in the most basic terms, right? Like, Ahai. I don't like lead with like Ahai, Ahai, Ahai. I say energy work does this, energy work does that. Like, because people understand energy work, and like then I can bring in the Ahai language after. But my goal is not to confuse people. But if a random new person, if I'm like Ahai, blah blah, they're just like, I don't know what the heck that is.
Yeah,
they're gonna move on. It's like, but I'm not in the business of trying to like convince people. I'm genuinely trying to share a message. Like, energy work will help you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the ego that's like, well, I need them to know it's Ahai.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I have a message for people to understand their energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that's all that matters to me. And so I think a lot of people get caught in like the titles of things, and what they're marketing is not clear. Yeah. There's a lot of like clarity gap for most people. Marketing is actually pretty simple. If you need to be really clear, you need to be really simple. You need to dumb it down and do it again and again and again. The shorter, the better. I don't want to watch a 5-minute video. I want to know in 10 seconds, mm-hmm. the very basic thing. And so I think with that, even with the content plan, it's like, play to your strengths. What can you do every single day? What can you stick with? What's easy for you? If you're somebody that likes to be long form, then jump on YouTube. If you are somebody that loves to write, then get on Substack. If you're somebody that is good in short snippets, get on TikTok, get on Instagram. Like, you need to kind of play to your strength and double down on that. But I think there's a lot of people that are really good long form, and then they're struggling on short form platforms. Understandably so. Mm-hmm. So whatever your strength is, like, lean in and double down on like what's going to work. But I do think there's a high level of resistance for spiritual people around like doing what's going to work for whatever reason. And there's a lot that we could get underneath that with. But it's like, there's this extreme resistance to letting it be simple.
Yeah.
And I would just really think about the fact that there's a lot of people out there that are looking for your service. They're looking for someone like you. And your job is to just let them know you exist. So if you're using language or content styles that are creating more of a gap where they do not know you exist, then you're not doing anybody a service. But if I'm simply like very straight to the point, like, hey, I'm Christina, I do this is my philosophy, and I just keep saying that again and again and again, hey, come lay down, I'm going to do energy work, you know, then they're going to get it. I think people think that marketing is about convincing. And I think in some industries, with some products it is. But in this line of work, it's not about convincing. It's just about showing. Mm-hmm. It's about showing. And so I would say the biggest block for people is just clarity. And most of the time, that's just a reflection of where they're not clear within themselves. Like, mm-hmm. I will be like, if you don't have your 30-second elevator pitch, if you can't explain what you do in less than a sentence, you are not clear, right? Like, people, like, I don't know what to tell people I do. I'm like, I'm in the Uber. What do you do? I'm a psychic.
Yeah.
Was that hard? I don't need to say I'm a quantum mechanics, vibrational light code worker. I could just, I'm a psychic. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm a podcaster. Sometimes I'm an energy healer. But I think these are really subtle ways where the ego is really involved, and it's like, it's really simple. And I think that the names for things really get in the way mm-hmm. for people. Just say what it is. Yeah. And stop hiding behind things that are more complicated. It's like, and people are like, I'm not making money. I'm like, what is your offer? And then they have some explanation that's like 2 minutes long. I'm like, what? What is your offer? It should be like, I don't know. You can book a session for me for coaching.
Yeah.
That was easy, right? Like, I do energy work, or like, I do breath work. I do like, and if you're doing something niche, if you're doing something different, you have to find a way to explain it in really simple language.
Yeah.
Like really make it so that a 5-year-old could understand what you're going to do. But your offer cannot be complicated. Like my app is a meditation app.
Mm-hmm.
My app isn't a meditation app, you know, but like that's what it is to somebody who I have 10 seconds with in the elevator. Like, oh, cool, I'm interested. It's like it gets the point across, and you got to just get the point across.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer.
Love it. It's perfect. That you basically answered what my next question was going to be, which is like about that, like when you're talking about this message, and this is stuff that you've told me too that has been very helpful about like getting clear about that and like what is my core message that I want to share that translates through, yes, an event that I do, but it's also with the tarot that I read. It's also with like, you know, all these different things. So I was just going to ask you, like, how general or specific do you think people need to be with getting clear within that? Or do you think that it kind of just depends on the situation? Like maybe I'm more specific with my social media, but for my entire brand, like just from my orientation point, it's more general.
I don't think it needs to be that specific because it's like I'm saying you need to know the through line more for you.
Yeah.
You know, like most company, like their mission statement, they create all, you know, branding through, all offers through is something that they've never posted anywhere. Like nobody knows, but it's an ethos that runs through everything. But my point is like you have to deepen into like your ethos, your why. Like you need to, if you don't understand those connection points, then you don't understand yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand yourself, then you got to do that.
Yeah.
That before you're gonna really be able to share this with people. So like I think a lot of this is you need to be convicted in why this matters. And when you're convicted in why something matters, it comes through naturally. And when you're convicted in why something matters, you're not afraid to talk about it. You want to talk about it every single day because it's helpful. So I do think that it's a lot about just understanding yourself and like, and really knowing your unique viewpoint of the world. Like why do these tools matter and why do they matter to you? And you have to be able to answer that for yourself. It's going to translate in subtle ways in everything that you do and even in your motivation to do it. So I don't think it has to be that specific, to be honest. I think if you're, you know, in a non-spiritual industry, it needs to be specific.
Yeah.
To be honest. But I think within yourself, it doesn't have to be. But you gotta know yourself so people can know you. But I think a lot of the frustrations that people have with money, with like people feeling like people don't see them or recognize them, whatever, it's all just a reflection of where you are not cleared in yourself, where you are not clear and anchored in who you are and what you're offering. Even just, you know, there's this whole thing around people have this resistance to like claiming the title. And it's like, no one really cares about the title. That's just an internal thing. And I get it. I'm not judging. Like I went through that for a long time. And yeah, during that time, I struggled with money because I wasn't claiming anything. And so if I'm not telling people who I am, then they're not going to know who I am. They're not going to know what they can get from me. You have to like pick a lane and go with it. And like the difference between I'm an oracle and I'm a channel within yourself, nobody gives a fuck. Like it doesn't matter. Just like know the essence. Like, like I'm here to bring messages from the other side. Like I am here to connect people with their body. Like I'm here to help bring fun and play and excitement to spirituality because it's gotten boring as fuck. Like I'm here to help people see themselves and like see the truth. Like just know what the flavor is. There's always a unique flavor, you know. And this is an unrelated conversation, but I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he's like, I wanted to ask you about something you told me a long time ago. And I think I said this to him like 2 years ago. And I had said he's like, you told me like something to the effect of, you act like you're an outsider. And as long as you act like you're an outsider, you're never going to have what you want. And he was like, can you tell me more about that? Because like, I feel the truth in that, but I'm trying to figure out how I act like an outsider. And so I was like, it's not like there's one specific thing you say or do that is indicating that. It's like a vibe you bring where you position yourself like you're outside of the group and like, oh, hey, I'm here, but I'm not really friends with you. Like I'm an outsider here, when you could just as easily drop into the space of like, these are my friends. And that's just a position you take. But like, I'm feeling your energy. And so when you show up to the things I invite you to, and you're in an energy of I'm an outsider, then I am interpreting that like, well, he doesn't seem to think I'm in his core friends because he thinks he's an outsider here. So I guess I'm not in his core friends. So then I stop inviting you to stuff. And I was like, it's just this very subtle energetic that changes all of the subtle things you say and do. And I said to him, I'm like, for example, like if I haven't seen you in a year and you're like, haven't seen you in so long, what's been going on? How has the last year been? Immediately I'm like, we're not good friends.
Yeah.
Like, because you're positioning yourself like you're outside of my life coming into it. But I have friends who I consider my best friends. So my best friends who I talk to once a year.
Yeah.
And they don't pick up the phone or like, how has your year been? It's like, you don't believe what happened last night. Like you act like nothing happened. You're orienting yourself like, I'm not an outsider here. Like this is the inner circle. It's an energetic orientation that just bleeds into the little things you say, you do, your posture, your physicality, your embodiment. And I told him, I said, what I need you to understand is you are looking for the people around you to validate your positioning. But the people around you view your positioning based on what you tell them. So you're looking at other people because you want other people to be like, yeah, you're in our group. And they're waiting for you to be like, I'm in this group now. And if you say I'm in this group now, they're like, cool, he's in this group now. And I think that really translates here. It really translates here. And because it's a vibe that bleeds into everything. And it's like, I can tell, like I meet people all the time in spiritual arts and I'm like, oh, what do you do? And the way they say it is shaky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a judgment. I'm just saying like, this is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're super grounded and confident, I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe I should come see you. Like there's all kinds of people I meet for one time. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking about like the other day we had this acupuncturist come for healing and she's like, yeah, I do Chinese medicine. And I was like, oh, maybe I should come see you. I know nothing about this person, but I can feel her groundedness. I can feel in the way that she says it, how confident she is in herself. And that's conveying something to me.
Yep.
But when somebody's like, oh, you know, I'm a sound bowl healer and they're like shaky with it, I'm like, okay. And I make an assumption like, did you just start yesterday?
Yeah.
You don't seem sure on yourself. So how could I be sure on you?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not saying this from a judgmental perspective. I'm just telling you psychology. Like I'm a human like anybody else with psychology. And it's helpful to understand how people respond to that. And again, it's like most people are shaky because they're looking for external validation. You are going to get that when you tell people who you are because you know who you are. You either have it or you don't. And having it or not is actually not a function of how long you've been doing it. Like if I have it, I have it, you know? So you have to get to the bottom of like, are you making it up or not? I feel really strongly about that because I think a lot of people are trying to sell shit they're making up. Mm-hmm. And if you are like, I'm not making it up, I can do this. Like, I can do it. Then why the fuck are you questioning it?
Yeah.
And tell me who you are. There we go. So I think a lot of people they stop themselves at the start. Mm. And business is way past the start. Honey.
Yeah.
So you got to move past that and then just start planting seeds, telling people who you are and let that all build and things start coming in. But all of this is just looking at these reflections within yourself about where you're not clear. And when you're clear, other people are going to be clear about you.
Mic drop.
So that's my I feel very strongly about this because it irritates me. It's like, you know, like come on. I mean, it's wild how many people in the spiritual arts. I'm like, I want you guys to have money.
Yeah.
I want you guys to have the money in society. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of telling people. Mm-hmm. Don't like, oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, I could shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's so many. Source reconnection. Wealth codes. Activate your power. Reclaim your sovereignty.
Magnetism.
Like, amplify your magnetism. receive, hold, expand, like all of these. Come on, you know? Like all of these are really important. And like you have to feel it. Like as we're doing it, like I want you to feel it. And I want you to really get real with yourself about what it would look like for you to live it. Right? Like do it. I'm going to bridge the gap between thinking and doing. I'm going to be in motion. That is creation. So anyway, you can try any of those out. There's just a lot. There's a lot in there. 7-day free trial. ChristinaTheChannel.com/membership. I'm telling you, like, I feel strongly about this, like, because it works. This is the point. And this is why people join. Yeah. Because they are like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I will do it.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Is this is the difference between you and a lot of other people in the space. Yeah. Who, exactly like we were saying, like are not embodied in it. It's like you have proven it 1,000 times over in your own life and in the lives of every single person who has actually like captured what you just said and done it. Because the second that you do it, boom, it's like you have the formula.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It's like whatever your offer is, make sure it's aligned with your conviction, because there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I have a meditation app. I'm like, you don't seem that pumped about it. Like, I'm like, my app does shit, right? Like, I'm like, I have the testimony. Like, for me, I can give you a million examples every single day of my life of what happens. I'm like doing my telepathic message and I get the text and I'm like, you know, like, so that's felt. And it's like, so don't make a meditation app if you are not feeling like your meditations are the shit. Yeah. You know, don't run a retreat if you do not think that your retreats are the shit. Like you've got to know it. You've got to know it. Yeah. That's how people are going to know if it's legit. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Okay. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Help? Yeah. I think that was helpful for me. I think that will be very helpful for a lot of people.
Good. Let me know. Let us know. Because I like this conversation. And I do like to have a pulse on what people's blocks are. Because I do like to speak into them. Because I'll go at it.
She'll go off.
I'll go off. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will chat with you again next episode.